Hello, bonjour, namaste, ni hao, and oh hi everybody, what is going on? It is Gale here. Welcome back to the YouTube channel once again for another Danmachi video, and we're back with some more Sword Oratoria content. And I know we've been making a lot of SO content recently on the channel, you know, the volume 15 coverage and everything, but it's because of that, but also subsequently it's also because of my desire to put Sword Oratoria at the forefront because of how important it is becoming in the light novels. You know, the connection between Sword Oratoria and the main series is ever growing, and it is come to a culmination in which they are literally going to be joined at the hip basically. And so in my opinion, it's kind of a shame that we're not getting anything from the anime side of things, right? It seems like they don't want to do anything with the anime. And of course, in my most recent video where we obviously had a discussion about how it's a need for us getting a Sword Oratoria anime and no longer a want, a lot of you guys actually commented saying that while we would love to see a Sword Oratoria anime, y'all were thinking a little bit more rationally in the comment section and saying, you know, stuff like, of course, the fact that it's been 7-8+ years, it's been too long, and then on top of that also we know that they don't have trust in the franchise anymore in terms of the Sword Oratoria IP specifically for it to become an anime. We know that they have trust in the main series. That's why we're obviously into season 5, maybe getting more content in the future as well, right, with the 10th anniversary anime project. But Sword Oratoria is something I think they've given up on when it comes to the anime forefront. And I agreed with y'all saying that, yes, I do know that it's been 8+ years. I do know, and I'm the one who's been saying it for a very long time, that, you know, they don't have any faith in the Sword Oratoria anime at all, considering, you know, the lack thereof of the anime when it comes to, of course, you know, actually getting a new season and stuff, right? But it does not mean and does not change the fact that we need it, right? It does not change the fact that we need it. In this video, I want to talk about, of course, since, you know, we're not going to be getting a Sword Oratoria anime, at least at this point in time, we're going to have to wait until the anniversary anime project is announced. And if it isn't Sword Oratoria, then we have to just accept the fact that we're not going to get Sword Oratoria as an anime. And so in this video, what I wanted to do was show you guys some alternative ways you guys can follow the Sword Oratoria storyline without having to read the light novels. Of course, I know a lot of you guys don't like picking up a book and, you know, reading all those words. Listen, we're all anime fans. I know it's hard for us to read, okay? It's not just Dragon Ball fans that can't read. I've learned over the last couple of years that anime fans can't read either. So I know it's very difficult for us to read a light novel, but what we can read is some manga and of course some other things as well. So I want to start us off with the manga because it's one thing that I think I would recommend the most, and it's not because I've read it, because I've not read it actually. I've not read the manga at all, and if you guys want me to read the manga, maybe we can do something where I review each volume or something like that and we can go over it together. Let me know in the comment section down below. I'm curious to see if you guys would like to you know, see something like that on the channel. But along with that as well, you know, a lot of people have been recommending it to me. A lot of people have been saying it's really, really good. It's almost caught up to volume 12 as well, which is quite crazy to say considering the main series of Danmachi actually hasn't had a update to its story at all in a long time. And, you know, currently it's still in the Ishtar arc, if I'm not mistaken, and they kind of skipped over the War Games arc. I think there was some issues with the publisher and the illustrator, and so it's been really difficult to adapt the main series in the manga format, which is quite funny because it's quite the other way around when it comes to manga versus anime. You know, in manga format, Sword Oratoria is doing just fine and it's continuously updating, and we're getting new chapters every month or every 2 months basically, right? Whereas the main series is struggling and floundering, right? And then in the anime side, it's the other way around, where the main series is doing extremely well, but the anime for Sword Oratoria is completely non-existent, right? It's quite funny in that sense. It's just quite a bit funny and ironic in that sense. But anyways, the manga I've heard is extremely well done, and I've obviously, like I said, it's nearly caught up to Sword Oratoria volume 12, which means that we're gonna have to still wait and see actually on whether or not they'll adapt everything after Sword Oratoria 12, right? It is going to be very interesting to say the least, and if they do, I think that would be my 100% main recommendation for you guys to check out. One thing I also really like about the Sword Oratoria manga, from what I've seen, the little I've seen, you know, is that Eyes is way more emotional and way more expressive, I should say, expressive, yes, way more expressive compared to even the light novel, I would say, like the light novel obviously shows some emotion for eyes when it comes to Sword Oratoria's light novel. I'm not talking about main series. She doesn't show as much emotion, a little bit but not too much. In Sword Oratoria's light novel, it's a little bit more, but I think the manga, from the images I see on Reddit, the images that peeps in my Discord post and stuff like that, she's way more expressive, and I think that adds a little bit more flavor to Eyes. Of course, right, a lot of people don't really rate Eyes as a main protagonist, and the reason why a lot of people tend to prefer Ryu and stuff like that is because of the anime, and also generally I would say the main series light novel also showing her as a bit of a cardboard. And I'm not saying she is a cardboard, but I'm saying she seems like a cardboard, especially in the early light novels. And so obviously everybody's preferences would be the more expressive, the more emotional, the more open characters that we have with the likes of Lily, Ryu, Haruhime, and so on and so forth. And especially because Ryu got her whole arc to become more open, right, in season 4 and stuff, it ends up becoming the case in which, of course, you're gonna have a lot of people preferring Ryu and stuff like that. But of course, with the Sword Oratoria manga being a lot more where we can see that she's just a girl that doesn't know how to express her emotions, and even though she is emotional, she's very she expresses her emotions in ways that she even doesn't understand, which is the right way of approaching it. And I really like that they did that with the manga, of course, right? From what I'm seeing, that's the way Eyes should have been handled. And you could say that this is a little bit on Omori's side of being a little bit of a new writer, right? When he started writing Sword Oratoria, and of course the main series of Danmachi, was he was a novice writer at the time. He was a very new writer, and so of course I see a lot of the manga Eyes in recent light novels. So I think, of course, in that sense, it's done a great job, right? But yeah, the manga is a great way for you guys to obviously check out Sword Oratoria, and I would say that one of the best ways to catch up to obviously where Sword Oratoria is at right now, of course, when it comes to at least English light novel content that we have, right? Because of course Sword Oratoria volume 14 and 15 aren't yet adapted in English. It's not translated in English, light novels. We're at Sword Oratoria volume 13. There's a very good chance the manga might catch up to Sword Oratoria volume 13, so it's not a bad way for you guys to go and check out some Sword Oratoria content. Now, of course, while we do have the manga, and I would say, obviously you can buy the manga, you can go to like Kobo Books or something and, buy the manga. If you want a free way of getting the manga Dex is a great way to obviously check out some Sword Oratoria content, is what I will say, okay? I don't tell anybody that you heard it from me, okay? You don't tell anybody you heard it from me. Now, we also have a nice playlist by Reaper Jack on YouTube, which covers Sword Oratoria and how it was adapted in DanMimo. I would recommend this, to be quite honest, if you are interested in hearing the voices of the voice actors and also having a more of a visual novel approach style as well. Of course, I know a lot of people don't like completely reading and would like to hear the voice actors or just hearing a voice while the story is being told. DanMimo does a great job in adapting Sword Oratoria. In fact, I would say, outside of some slight changes in the last couple of novel adaptations of Sword Oratoria Volume 11 and 12 primarily, for the most part, it is done extremely well, and it is extremely 1:1. I've even compared some of the text that was in the light novel versus, of course, the DanMimo adaptation of Sword Oratoria, and it is nearly, if not exactly, identical. So I would highly recommend the DanMimo version as well. The only thing you want to keep in mind, like I said, is in Sword Oratoria 11 and 12, there are some changes. There are some changes that do affect, you could say, a little bit of the storylines and stuff, but not to a drastic amount. I would say like it's negligible, even, to be quite honest. It is not a drastic amount, and it is quite negligible. And to be honest, if you remove those scenes as well, it would still be identical, pretty much. Like, if you remove those scenes, nothing would change. So it's that sort of story, I would say. I would highly recommend it. It's not a bad way of obviously checking it out. The only issue is, of course, with DanMimo's end of service, the only stories we have is up to volume 12. So you have volume 1 all the way to volume 12. And obviously, if you are interested, of course, in starting from where the light novel ends, of course, in the anime, of course, right? So if you watch season 1 of Sword Oratoria, your best bet is to start from the Sword Oratoria under Resort Crossing Tale, basically, because that is volume 5 and onwards. You also have some of these outfit stories for volume 5 as well, which you guys can check out. I would recommend that as well. That also works as well. But yeah, you want to kind of start from here and just keep going all the way down and onwards, basically, because that is how you're going to catch up to some Sword Oratoria volume 5 stuff as well, basically. So yeah, that's how I would recommend it. For the manga, because I haven't read it, I can't really recommend a starting point. I would just say start from the very beginning. It's pretty quick manga chapters, to be quite honest. One thing to note is that we have up to volume 28 effectively, and up to chapter 126, of course, right? It was last uploaded in 20 days ago, so last month is when we had the last chapter. I assume the next chapter is probably going to be either at the end of this month or next month, maybe, who knows. I have no idea when it usually gets updated, but there you guys go. Hopefully this could help you guys out in some way, shape or form in, you know, trying to obviously check out some of the Sword Oratoria stuff, and of course, you know, kind of see other ways for you to check out some Sword Oratoria. I know some of you guys have been also asking me like on how I can, you know, start Sword Oratoria and where to start Sword Oratoria from once the manga has ended, or where the anime has ended. I would say if you're trying to pick up the light novels, start from volume 4 or 5. I would personally say start from the very beginning, because of just how bad the adaptation was of Sword Oratoria. But realistically speaking, I would say if you're talking about where the anime ended, start from volume 4 or volume 5. You will be fine there, basically, right? And it's the same thing with even the DanMimo version. You can start from under Resort Crossing Tale as well, and also of course with the manga, just start from the very beginning. It's not that many chapters you're looking at here, so you may as well. But yeah, let me know if you guys want me to read through the manga on in videos. Maybe I can do a volume every other day or something like that, and we can, you know, kind of review the manga that way. But I'm curious to see what you guys have to say down below in regards to the alternative ways and the way you're probably going to be reading Sword Oratoria. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Leave a like if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel for more content, and I will see you guys in the next one. Until then, take it easy, everybody. Bye bye.